I want to end the show by talking about Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer. So to me, Mike Zimmer is a pretty solid head coach. I really do firmly believe that. Usually when you look at Mike Zimmer, his teams play hard and they're well coached more times than not. You can tell when a team is not well coached and when they're well coached. You know, I looked at what's a prime example? I looked at the Houston Texans the other day, and they're just not a well-coached football team. They're just not. You look at Baltimore, you look at New England, you look at Green Bay, Minnesota, well-coached football team. Well-run organization. And I will say Mike Zimmer gets the most out of his players. Like I said, his players play hard, and that's a reflection on the coach, because if a coach is pushing his players every single day and they're in shape, they're flying around, that's a reflection on the coach. Because we tend to talk about teams taking on the personality of their starting quarterback, but what about the head coach? Okay, Matt Patricia, not the most attention to detail guy, kind of laid back, not really assertive. The Lions, they weren't a very good football team when he was the head coach there, okay? So that's my point. And by the way, Mike Zimmer, a couple of years ago, got the Vikings to an NFC Championship game, and his quarterback was Case Keenum. And he's won a playoff game with Kirk Cousins. And I'm not saying Kirk Cousins and Case Keenum are absolutely horrible quarterbacks, because they have a spot. There is a spot for them in the NFL. Case Keenum, he deserves to be an NFL quarterback. And Kirk Cousins, he's a solid starter, but this isn't Aaron Rodgers. This isn't Patrick Mahomes. This isn't, Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady. You get what I'm saying? But here's the thing. While Mike Zimmer is pretty good, I don't think he's great. And I think Mike Zimmer's coaching philosophy is kind of outdated. I really do firmly believe that. Because Mike Zimmer is an old school, throwback, defensive-minded head coach that likes to run the football and play great defense. And I think that over the past couple of years, the big downfall for Minnesota is they haven't really opened up the offense enough. And maybe that's due to Kirk Cousins' limitations, and maybe that's due to the roster, but also some of that is on the coaching staff. And at times, Minnesota doesn't make great adjustments. Like I think one area Mike Zimmer and his team really struggles in is they are not great at consistently making adjustments on the fly. And in big games, sometimes Mike Zimmer and the Vikings aren't prepared, And over the next few years, the Vikings will have to make a decision. Are we okay with Mike Zimmer, or can we upgrade? Because Mike Zimmer's good. But is he great? I'm not sure. I don't know if Mike Zimmer has enough coaching charisma or DNA to take it to the next level. But I do think there are other coaches out there that have more potential than him. Like, you know what you're going to get from Mike Zimmer. But is Mike Zimmer ever going to be good enough to get the Vikings over the hump if he ever gets his quarterback? I don't know. I don't know. I think that remains to be seen, but it just seems like Mike Zimmer and the Vikings, they're not innovative enough. I just think that there are teams out there that are more creative and more dynamic, like Kansas City, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Even New England has a couple of, wrinkles where they mix things up here and there. But Minnesota, seems a little outdated. I think that Minnesota can make the playoffs with Zimmer, but they'll more times than not just be a team that makes the playoffs, probably misses the playoffs the next year, makes the playoffs the year after that. And, what are we doing? Are we going all in for Super Bowls, or are we just, flirting with the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I want to know what you Vikings fans think. So hit me up on social media. Hit me up in the comment section. Love to know what you guys think about Mike Zimmer. But overall, I just think Mike Zimmer is a little outdated, and I think the Vikings organization will need to make a choice regarding Mike Zimmer in the future. He's a good coach, but a little outdated for my taste. I could be wrong. He could prove me wrong from this point going forward. I'd love to see him do it, but like I said, I say this a lot, only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.